What's going on, guys? I hope everyone's doing well. Today I'm gonna break down my new track, Booty Quaking. It's a tech house track. It's one of my first tech house tracks that I really made. And I'll break it down. I'm gonna try and make this video quick, or at least quicker than the last one. And I'm just gonna break down these three elements because they're the most important ones I think for this track. The bass line, Sythn FX, and the percussion elements. Let's get into it. Alright, so here's the Ableton project, and we're gonna dive in first to the bass line. It's like in D minor, I think, but just goes D, 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 E, F, E, D, D. It's supposed to be bouncy, and then in the second part I gave it a little variation so that it gives like a little groove, and that just gives you the groove of the whole song. Mixed with the kick, you can hear it, but let's give it a look. Super bouncy, super danceable. I don't know, I really like it. And it comes together very well in the song. The second part I wanted to look at this song that I think is something people would like to see is what makes tech house, in my opinion, which is Sythn FX. So the first one that I have right here is this basic super saw. It's the simplest thing you can make in Serum. Just put a saw, bring up the unison, detune it a bit, mono legato, and then you just make your own little thing. But what makes it cool is that you have to put some automation on the pitch. Here, I'll show that. So I pitched it up, so as it plays, it goes up. So let's give that a hear. Super cool. Just brings you in. Amazing. The next one, it's also a super saw, same type of thing. I'll show you the Serum real quick. Except there's two saws this time, so it's two oscillators going, and it has a more full sound. I'll show you how that one. This one is pitched down, so let's give it a listen. Super dark, super nice. Let's see, there's a part where I layer them right here. So there's like a break that happens, and then I layer them, so you can hear how that sounds too. When I layer those two, the one oscillator and the two oscillators together, it sounds really big, like this. What I did for that part also is I panned them, one to the left and one to the right. The one oscillator is on the left and the two oscillators are on the right. So that sounds super cool. And another synth effect that I added that is also very tech housey is this. I call it a bleep bloop, but it's basically a saw with a filter, but the filter is being modulated by this LFO that I created right here. So I just put the LFO on the cutoff and now it modulates. So let's hear how that sounds so you can see what I'm talking about. Once you hear it, you'll be like, oh, okay, I know what that is. Super cool. That just brings the vibe back. You just fall back in your seat, fall back in your groove. It's a nice sound. It gives a little energy to the track. But I added that a couple times over the track. And the last synth effect, which I think is the coolest, and it's the most complex of all of them, is another bleep bloop, as I call it. And instead of a saw wave, I made a square wave, and I'm modulating the cutoff, but I turned off the envelope, so I just automated the rate of the LFO. So you can see there, you can see the automation of the LFO rate. So I bring it up, and then it's like, grrr, and I bring it back down. So let's hear how that sounds. And if you can see at the end there, like the last notes that hit, I put a little reverb so that it kind of like trails out. And then there's like a clap run. I'll show you that real quick because I think that's an important part of how the breakdown goes. And after the breaks, I make my own little clap loop. So I just go. That last reverb hit, that's what you're gonna hear. All right, moving on to the percussion, which is the last element I think is cool, and I'll show the vocals a bit too. The percussion, very cool too. The first one I have is these like tin drums. The percussion is important because it just shows like a little vibe. And when you're on the dance floor, you hear the percussion and it's different because all drums in house are kind of the same, but the percussion is always something out of the world, different, earthly vibes. So the first one is like these tin drums. Important that you add groove to these. So in Ableton you can add groove very easily. Next thing I added were these bongos. Very cool. And the last one is probably my favorite. It's like this plastic type percussion loopy thing that I made. The cool thing about this one is I like automated a little bit of reverb on it, so it sounds cool. And finally, I'll just show you the vocals really quick. So the vocals are from Cymatics. It's a pack that I got. And if we hear them together, they sound like this. So I chopped them up right there and made like my own little chop right there. But how did I make this sound? Like this Fisher sound, this super cool, like dark, deep sound. Basically, it's really easy. All I did was I took this top one and I transposed it down 5 semitones and I panned that one to the right. Then I took this bottom one, I panned it to the left and I transposed it -12 semitones. So together they're really deep, but they're also panned to do sides. So you hear like one down, one here. It makes this like demonic sound. So I'll just show you the most famous part of the song. Booty quaking. Super cool. And yeah, basically that's all I wanted to show you a little bit of how this song was made. I think it's a cool song. I'm gonna push to make more tech house because I really like this type of genre. I love to dance to it, and it's also more simple. My other tracks, it's way more complicated, way more layering. This is more like a simple type of music, not much layering for me. I just keep it simple, keep it vibey, and get it ready for the club. But yeah, I hope you liked the video and check out the song. It's gonna be on Spotify, Apple Music, all platforms. Peace out, see you next time.
Watch me take control.